Good morning everybody, welcome to the channel Truck It Prowl. As you can see, it's starting to get cold. I have the hat back on. So yeah, welcome to the channel. I'm going to be going through the top 5 things that annoy truck drivers. So stay tuned and let's get into this. Into this. So we're going to be talking about the top 5 things that annoy truck drivers. Now you might have some of your own little pet peeves and you can add them in if you want to send us a little comment below, tell me what you think is your pet peeve, but these are just a few of mine. So the top 5 for me, the first one is an obvious one, something that can't be helped. Well, I say can't be helped, I suppose it can do in some instances, but it's traffic. So as a truck driver, the biggest bane of our life is traffic. And what I mean is by it can be avoided is that the fact that if people were better drivers, then there wasn't so many accidents, some of the traffic could be avoided. Now it's not always the case, sometimes there is just traffic because certain times of the day, it's rush hour, it's busy. I'm actually going to be going around the 406, which is a road that goes sort of around central London. It's in London, but it goes around sort of the main part of London, if that makes sense. And I'm going to be going in a rush hour, so the chances are I will be stuck in a load of traffic. And also, what doesn't help is the fact that there's a lot of roadworks going on at the moment around this road that I need to use. Now, the thing you've got to remember is it's not just it's traffic. Essentially, you are part of the traffic. That doesn't make it any less annoying though. So that's obviously the first one, and I'm not really going to go too far into it because we all hate traffic. We all know it's the bane of our life, especially when it makes us late home, or you know, you're expecting to be done at a certain time and then something happens and then you get delayed for up to 2 hours, especially if you live in the areas that I live, which is got the most hot spots for a lot of traffic, i.e. the Dartford crossing, which is actually just over on my right as I'm driving. We have the M25, which is known as the car park of England. So if anyone doesn't know, that is the big motorway that goes all the way around London. So basically anything inside the M25 is kind of classed as London. Anything outside of it is not, basically. Anything north of the M25, you're classed as a northerner, just so you know. That's not actually correct, but yeah, that's just how we see it. The next thing I'm going to talk about is service areas. So service areas are something that really grind my gears, especially in the UK. I haven't done international driving, so I can't really comment for them, but from what I've heard, they are a lot better abroad than they are here. I'm guessing that's not for every country, but your main countries, Germany, France, Spain, etc., the standards are a lot higher. Here you park up in a service area, and if it's a nice hot day, you think, oh lovely, I'll sit here, I'll have my break, I'll roll down my window, get a bit of fresh air, and the first thing that you get is the smell of weed, which is also a lovely thing to have when you're just about to eat your lunch. Now, I don't know why this is. There are toilet facilities at the services, but for some reason a lot of people in this country are too lazy to walk 200 yards to the toilet, so they'll just get out of their lorry and wee up the side of the wheel. No excuse for it in my eyes, but it's just something that everybody seems to do here. I don't know whether that's predominantly everybody, or whether it's, you know, just us British people that do it. I have no idea, but yeah, it's not nice. You're going for a break, and the last thing you want to be doing is sitting there with the smell of stout. It's awful. So that's probably one of my most hated things about being a HGV driver. Not only that, with services you tend to find that whatever you'd pay in a supermarket, you can almost bet your ass that you're going to be paying at least double in a service area, which is really frustrating because obviously as a HGV driver you don't really have a lot of options where you can stop. So if you are stopping at a service area, be prepared to be stung. It's a bit sickening really, because like I just said, we don't have the luxury of being able to just stop at a Tesco's or whatever and just pick up a meal deal for £3. We'll end up going into a service area and they'll charge you £9 for a little tiny meal. It's ridiculous, but that's just what it is. I hope that will change in the future, but can't really see it happening. Not only that as well, service stations, they don't offer many healthy options. So you'll find the majority of the service stations in the UK are just filled with junk food places. So if you want to have a nice healthy lunch, the chances are you're probably not going to get one. There might be the odd place where you can go and get a sandwich or something like that, but yet again, like I said, you're going to be paying through the odds. And the chances are you're going to look at that and think, if I were going to pay that for a sandwich, I might as well just go and get myself a nice big dirty burger for the same price. That's just the way the human mind works, I guess. One of the most annoying things as well, which kind of ties into the traffic, is bad drivers. Now, on a daily basis as a HGV driver, you're going to come across bad drivers. Now, obviously depending on what sort of area you live in, like cities, there's a lot more traffic, so you're obviously more likely to encounter the bad drivers. And it happens to me on a daily basis. People sitting in your blind spot, just cruising along and not paying attention to there's a lorry beside of them. So you have to be extra vigilant with your mirrors, especially when driving in London. And they just seem to be in their own little world. Like they'll just be driving along, I don't know, sometimes they're texting on their phone or talking. Actually, funny enough, I'm just looking through into the car in front of me and we're in sort of slow traffic, but he's got his phone down next to his radio and he is flicking through what looks like, I guess, WhatsApp or something like that. These are the sort of things that cause accidents. So you've just got to be so vigilant and so aware of these people that are out there on the road. Like sometimes I think, where do they get their license? But then I don't think it's about that so much. I think it's just the fact that they're so distracted with other things. Now it's not just things like being on the phone as well, it's people that don't know the rules of the road. So you'll get what I like to call middle lane hoggers. So you're going along a motorway, it's a 3-lane motorway, and instead of sitting in the slow lane at 50 mile an hour, they'll just sit in the middle lane at 50 mile an hour. Therefore making lorry drivers either having to do an illegal manoeuvre and go out into the fast lane and overtake them, which obviously you shouldn't be doing, or you just have to literally sit behind them and hope that they actually pay attention at some point and do get over into the actual lane that they should be in. That is really frustrating, especially when, as a lorry driver, we have time schedules. So that's probably one of the biggest peeves for me as well, is bad drivers. The last one I'm going to talk about, I want to talk about is probably the one for me that is the most frustrating as a HGV driver, and that is poor planning. Now, with the company I'm with at the moment, the planning is pretty good. I cannot complain too much. There's obviously, in every job, there's going to be little discretions and things that could be changed and be a bit better, but on a whole, compared to the other jobs that I've been in, pretty good. I'm going to use an example. I'm not going to say the company's name, but there was a company I used to work for that do containers, and just put it this way, they're quite slow on the road. So you might know what I mean if you know the industry well. Basically, they had 200 drivers around that sort of mark, I don't know, and in the office they had 2 planners. Now, you would get your first job done, you'd come back, and then you need to call up to get a code to get onto the docks, and sometimes you could be on the phone anywhere between half an hour, which is a good time, to about 2 hours, just trying to get through to the office to get a code to get onto the docks, to get your box to do your next job. So in that time where you spent just trying to call them up to get onto the docks, you could have been loaded and on your way to that job, therefore finishing at a reasonable time. But no, with this company that I was with, it was literally every day they were delaying you because of the poor planning. And it was a system they had to do. They couldn't just give you the code in the morning, because you had to have a time slot. So they couldn't plan that time slot in case there was any delays or anything like that. So you had to call up to get a code. But the obvious answer to this is they needed more staff in the office to deal with the volume of calls that they were getting for their drivers. I was only there a short time because of that exact reason. The job as a whole wasn't bad. It was pretty easy work. It wasn't stressful or anything like that. It was just the fact that it was really long, stupid hours, which could have been preventable through better planning. And I'm guessing quite a lot of people can resonate with this, because I've always said to drivers that I've either trained or been out with or spoken to, that most HGV drivers don't leave the job, they leave the manager. And in this case, it's not really the manager, it's the planner. So poor planning leads to poor staff retention. So once you get that solved, I guess it's quite a decent work environment. There's another place I worked, and it was absolutely brilliant. Literally, you would tip your job, you'd push it through with a button, they would get a message at the office saying that that's been tipped, and within 5 to 10 minutes the next job will be put on to the tablet, away you go. Pretty much as simple as that. But for some reason, some companies just haven't quite caught up with these little things that could really help them keep their staff, basically. So I'm going to keep this a short little video, guys. I hope that this helps. I hope you can sort of give us a comment and tell us what annoys you most about the industry and what you think could be done to improve it, maybe. If you've liked this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. See you on the next one.
I could go out in the dark and see you calling my name. I hear you shouting, hear you calling, but it's not the same. Every word that you are throwing right into my back doesn't matter to me, cause I'm keeping my track. Let me go, let me go, let me go.